When it comes to, do we need to send our children to Islamic schools, or should we send them to public schools, or should we send them to other private schools? But I personally, and I'll begin to tell you why, I personally am a huge advocate and supporter of Islamic schools, and specifically full-time Islamic schools. And what I hope to do is to explain why, and to talk a little bit about specifically this school and the things that I've heard about the school, which I think really which really make it stand apart. So first of all, a little background about myself. I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin. I myself did not have the opportunity to go to a full-time Islamic school. However, I currently send my children to full-time Islamic school and am a big supporter of Islamic school, and I'll tell you why. But before I tell you why, I want to tell you something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran addresses the believers. Yeah, and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the believers, He says to the believers, He's advising the believers. And He's telling the believers, first and foremost, to have taqwa. And when He said, first He says, ittaqullah. And after saying this advice, He says, وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. He says, and let every person know what they put forth for tomorrow. So what Allah here is telling us to do is to make sure that we're not just planning for what we're going to do tonight or what we're going to do tomorrow in 24 hours, but He's reminding us to be conscious of what we're planning for the tomorrow, capital T. That we should be conscious of what we've put forward for the next life. Now, recently, we were just talking, my husband was talking about an individual that he knew from the UK who went through an experience, and after, he spent his life seeking education. And he spent his life kind of working for his career. But after some time, he said something really heartbreaking. And that is that as he was sort of focused on these other things in his life, he said he came to the UK and he was focused on making money. But what happened along the way is that his children got lost. And he said it in like such a profound way. He said, I came here to find gold and I lost my diamonds. I came here to find gold and I lost my diamonds. And the reason why this was so touching is that I think it summarizes what happens to a lot of people. We're chasing after things in this life. And many of these things are perfectly halal, right? A good job, money, status, right? We want these things. And then we want these things for our children as well, right? We want a good job, status, and money. But in this seeking, in this rat race, sometimes we lose something much, much more precious. We lose the heart and soul of our children. We lose our children. And that's one of the scariest things, because at the end of the day, every single person's going to enter their grave, right? And it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or a Jew or an atheist. You cannot deny the fact that you will enter your grave. Now, when we enter our grave, and every one of us knows that this will happen, all of the things we chased, all of the money and all of the status and all of the degrees, because this man actually had a lot of degrees. He was chasing his degrees. He had a PhD and however in many other degrees. But he said that in seeking gold, I lost my diamonds. And so when we enter our grave, all of these things that we chased, they don't come with us to our graves. Our money doesn't come with us. Our degrees, our status, our title, whether you are called doctor or not, will not come with you to your grave. there's only 3 things that will come to you in your grave. And one of those things is a righteous child who prays for you. That this is actually what you're leaving behind, is your children. You're leaving behind, that's what you not only leave behind, but that is what will continue to follow you when you leave this earth. And when you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the beginning in the grave, is that a righteous child who you left behind, who is making dua for you, that this is what you left behind. Second is a sadaqah jariyah. Now a sadaqah jariyah is a charity that you gave in this life, and it continues to benefit others even after you pass away. So you're in your grave, and you're continuing to get good deeds for this charity that you left that continues to benefit others. And third is some knowledge that you passed along. Some knowledge that you gave another person that continues to benefit others even after you've entered your grave. Now I want you to think for a moment about an investment that encapsulates all 3 of these things. Think about an investment that not only raises righteous children, it is a charity that continues to benefit others long after we pass away, and it is a means by which we disseminate knowledge that continues to benefit others long after we've passed away. And that is the investment in an Islamic school. The investment in the education of a child. That, to me, if you're thinking about it from a business perspective, right? You want to maximize your return, right? Whenever we invest, what is the goal? The goal in our investment is that I'm going to put in some work or money, and I'm going to get something back, right? Isn't that what an investment is? Now, if you want to maximize in your investment, you want to get the most return. And if you're thinking in that way, just about your own effort, how can I maximize it? I cannot think of a better way than to invest in a school, than to invest in the education of a child, than to invest in raising another human being, because that encapsulates the righteous child, the sadaqah jariyah, as well as the knowledge. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on to say, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Now this ayah, I want to focus on for a moment. The meaning of this ayah is, do not be like those who forgot about Allah, so He made them forget about themselves. This is very profound. This is a very profound concept. That when we forget about Allah, when Allah is no longer a part of our lives, when getting closer to Allah, knowing what Allah wants from us, reading and studying His book, when this is no longer part of our lives, not only do we forget Him, we forget our own selves.